So we're going to be making a strawberry rhubarb pie. So to start us off with, we're going to make a pie crust. This is a recipe that was given to me by Martin Turcotte, and it's a no-fail pie crust. I don't think I've ever seen a single student fail making their pie crust with this. And I know that's usually the biggest thing in making pie, is having a pie crust that actually turns out properly. So to start us off, we're going to put our flour, salt, and shortening into a bowl, and we're going to cut that in. Okay, so when you're doing the shortening, instead of trying to fit it into a measuring cup, on the packaging it gives you a ruler grid. Just use that, lay it on your brick, and then you can, with your knife, make an indent, pull that away, pull your packaging away, and then cut through. Same thing goes with a brick of butter. Okay, so if you don't have a pastry blender, you can use 2 knives and just cut the lard into this, or like we did before when making the biscuits, just get in there with your hands and mix it in. But I'll start with the knives to show you that method, and then I'll switch to using my hands. Okay, so now that that's cut in, set that aside, and you're going to combine your milk and vinegar into a measuring cup, and then pour it in here to mix it up. So you're going to do a 1/3 cup of milk to a tablespoon of vinegar mixed in. Okay, so you got your milk and vinegar combined, and now you're going to pour it into your flour mixture, and you're just going to mix it up. So I'm going to use a wooden spoon. If you have a KitchenAid mixer, if you put the hook on it and put it in, that works too, to get it all mixing in. So I'm going to now set this aside. You can also make this pie crust the night before and then assemble it the next day if you want. But I'm just going to set this aside for a little bit, clean up, and then we'll come back and start rolling this out and assembling our pie to get into the oven. Alright, so since I'm doing rhubarb pie, I wanted to show you guys what rhubarb actually looks like. This is fresh from my parents' garden. So it has like the big leaves and the stems like this. So when it's this nice pink, that's when you know that it's ripe and you want to start picking it. And so when you're picking it, you just pull it off, and sometimes you'll get little bad sections like this, and so you just cut this section off. But make sure you leave some stems in your plant, because then it'll just keep growing, and this is the perfect time to start picking, because this is like the season for rhubarb. So I'm going to show you guys about how to cut this and prep this for your pie. So like everything we do, we want to make sure that it's all about being the same size, because you don't want big pieces mixed with little pieces, because then you're going to have some that are really soggy and then some that aren't as cooked. I'm using part of what was from last season that was in the freezer. We've just defrosted it. We're going to add some of this fresh stuff in with that now. So now for making your mix. So we've got our rhubarb here. My mom is actually cutting up the strawberries right now as we're speaking. But we're going to now put the brown sugar, the granulated white sugar, cornstarch, salt, orange juice, vanilla together into this bowl. So let's start going through this. We're going to do a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. have our dough here that's been resting. Your pie plate. Now you don't need to grease this, but we're just gonna put this off to the side. Now with this dough, you wanna make sure you cut it in half. You want enough for the top part of your pie, as well as enough for the bottom part. So I'm gonna do about half of the dough. And save half for the top, or you can get really fancy with different decorations. Sad I can't do this at school. I like to see what you guys come up with and hopefully post a picture on the wall, but if you make one at home and you really love the design of it, send it to me and hopefully I can even get that one printed off and put it in the hallway outside of the foods classroom. Okay, so we're gonna roll out our crust here. Now, just so that it's not so sticky on the countertop, put some flour down. If you don't have flour, or if you have parchment paper, put that down because then it won't stick to that either. So, start with a little bit. If you need a little bit more, as my mom's saying to me behind the camera, add more. And then, same thing with your rolling pin. Just rub some flour on the rolling pin and that'll help the dough not to stick to that. You're wanting to make sure you're rolling it out into a circle. So you're not going for like a square like with a pizza, but you're going for a circle. Alright, so now to check if your dough is wide enough for your pan, you take your pan, put it upside down, and you want a good portion of dough coming all the way around the edges. That way when it sits in there, it's coming up the edges enough, and then you can cut off any excess. I think I'm just gonna roll out a little bit more up, and then I will be good. Okay, so to transfer it to this, you can either take your rolling pin and pick up the edges onto the rolling pin like this, and lift it in, or you can fold it in half and half again, kind of to make a quarter, and pick it up and put it in. But this method works. So you get that kind of centered into your pie plate.
Do you have to worry about the edges of the crust right now?
No, but you want to get it right down into the edges.
But I mean the raw edge on top.
No, we'll cut that off. Okay, so now you're going to put your filling in. So you're not just going to take your filling and dump it because we have all this excess liquid. You can see all that liquid. You don't want that in the pie crust because that would just make this very soggy. So you're going to spoon it, spoonful by spoonful, into your pie crust. So you got your filling there. Now you're going to take your butter that is softened and you're going to dot the top with it. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons, so a quarter of this brick. And I'm just going to put little pieces of butter on top here.
Growing up, if we had leftover pastry that my mother didn't want to make another pie with, we would roll out whatever was left and we would put a spoonful of our favorite jam onto it and fold it over like a pizza pocket, and that would be our big treat that we could have for the pie. wasted anything. And there's your little pie pocket.
So I took 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of milk, beat it together. And this is what we're going to brush on top of our pie and our pie pocket. And then we're going to sprinkle it with sugar. And now we're going to sprinkle it with sugar. If you have coarse sugar, that's awesome. If not, that's okay. So now, when you're gonna make these, make sure you don't just put them on the rack. You want to put them onto a pie plate. So we're gonna put them on the baking sheet and bake them for 20 minutes. And then you're gonna turn the temperature from 400 degrees down to 350 degrees and bake it for another 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so we had the pie in for a total of 47 minutes in the oven. So it's nice and golden brown on top. You know that your pie's done if you can see some of the liquids coming through some of your slits bubbling up. We kept it on the pie plate just in case anything boiled over. Luckily nothing did. But now that this is done, we're going to leave this for 3 hours to completely cool, and then we can serve it and have it at around supper time here.